Welcome to
Stays Crunchy and Milk.
If you have questions or comments, we have multiple ways to be reached. Twitter is, of course, the best way for those who need instant gratification. The show's Twitter feed is @SkimPod. SKIMPOD.
Stays Crunchy.
If you want to hear yourself on the show, why not leave us a voicemail? 216-302-8763. That's 216-302-8POD.
Stays
For the
Crunchy.
more patient amongst you, the email address for the show is podcast@stayscrunchyandmilk.com. Crunchy again being spelled with a K. We're available via Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, Spotify, and of course at the website stayscrunchyandmilk.com. Please rate, review, subscribe, and share the show wherever you can.
Stays Crunchy.
And if the pockets is feeling extra chunky, you can put in on this and support our Patreon. It's available at patreon.com/stayscrunchyandmilk. And if you donate at the $5 or higher level, you get an entire extra show each month with even more content coming soon.
Stays Crunchy.
Our personal Twitters are Tatum216, Lunchbox2099, The Real ODP, and I'm your host, the Internet's Tayrail713. Yo, I was out to lunch and shit, puffing on a blunt to get my head wrecked, boogieing on my walking with an S on my chest. Bust a move, yes, I'm a superhero, don't forget. I smoke mad niggas, so to hell with cigarettes. But anyway, let's get back to the skit. You know who the fuck I am, so get off that old bull shucks. Lunchtime was up. Fuck! Let me jet or I'll collect unemployment bucks. On the way back, Jack, I spotted this object, a stray cat, stuck in a tree with a tag that say that if found, please return to this address. Yo, how did you see it? Nigga, with my x-ray eye specs, like, pew, I jetted to the closest phone booth. Quick flash, I dipped into my super lover suit. Boom, right through the fucking phone booth ceiling. It's a plane. Nah, Superman Lover's the name. I can slam King Kong and pick up freight trains on a mission to save this cat that was wishing he was in his litter, watching Fritz on Channel 6 and relaxing, feet cocked up just a little with a cocktail with a bowl of tender victuals. I snatched him, took him off through the air like a pigeon, quick so he won't start me yowling and bitching, then landed at the cat's tag's address in the projects. Elevators broke, so I had to take the back steps. Knock, knock. The door opened with my eye, then my eyes swole from this badass honey sipping a quarter old gold. Yo, was this your cat? Oh yeah, where'd you find him at? He was struck in a tree around uptown Manhattan. Well, how the hell did you save him? Are you police undercover? Nah, baby, the S on my chest stands for
Superman
lover. Yeah. It's one of my favorite songs. When I heard that song the first time, I was like, this is amazing. I didn't even know you could do this on a song, and I was totally shocked. That is from 1992's What's the Album by one Redman, produced by the Green Eye Bandit himself, Eric Sermon. Welcome to it, Stays Crunchy and Milk, episode 366. Back up in this bitch again. I am, of course, joined by the man of 1,000 nicknames, the artist formerly known as Chesterfield Rockwell. It's the 216's own Tatum.
I only have one regret. Maybe two.
We're also joined by the man who drops science like girls be dropping babies. It's Lunchbox.
Enough to make a Puerto Rican go crazy.
I don't know if I'd have to do anything to make that happen. Doesn't it come natural?
You know, hey, what? We also have the last of Go Keys, the suburban Puerto Rican, just the real ODP, my homeboy Gabe.
Speaking of crazy, there's nothing crazy about tomato and lettuce on your cheesesteak. At least in my opinion.
It's a violation of cheesesteak.
How is it a violation of cheesesteak?
Because if you go get a cheesesteak, it is at best it is with or without, which is with cheese whiz or without cheese whiz.
Onions too.
Yeah.
Well, you get the lettuce and the tomato. It's like having a salad before the steak. It's like a whole steak meal, 2 courses.
I feel like adding lettuce is an affront to the whole situation. It's like you're trying to add health in to make yourself feel better when you're not actually getting any kind of like benefit from the lettuce on the sandwich itself. It's this whole gooey, soft, just amalgamation of log, and then you're trying to add some crunchy water on top. To what end?
Crunchy water. I never heard lettuce described like that.
Oh yeah, the one YouTube channel I watch. He was actually just here a couple days ago. He did a Wingstop review here. Dame Drops. He refers to lettuce as crunchy water, and he refers to tomatoes as the red ring of death.
I know that regular iceberg lettuce is one of the few vegetables that have vitamin K in it. So it does have something that that we don't get in very many fruits and vegetables at all.
Really?
I just recently learned that. Yeah.
We really underestimate the value of iceberg lettuce because I don't think much of it.
Like I don't really love it, but it's something about it on tacos that make it magic. Like, yeah, you can try to put like some romaine on there, but romaine is like a lot earthier than iceberg lettuce. Sometimes I know you can get a whole head of iceberg for like 59 cents, but I be paying that $1.59 for that already shredded bag.
I've definitely bought like the pre-made salad stuff too because I'm too lazy to cut up that shit myself.
I don't use lettuce on anything no more. Everything I just flipped it all over to baby spinach. Yeah, man.
I do like baby spinach. I put it on my rib sandwich.
I just like to taste the iceberg. Like it's just something about it on the taco. It's a nice clean taste. It doesn't put it too far to the left or to the right. It's pretty good.
I just like the crunch it provides, but it depends on the sandwich. Like I said, like a Philly steak to me is not the venue for iceberg lettuce. Like a BLT is the venue for iceberg lettuce.
It's built into the title.
Yeah, like if I'm eating something like a BLT, like spinach is good, but like you eating a warm sandwich, that spinach started to get a little that kind of slimy quality. I couldn't imagine putting spinach on a McChicken. I couldn't imagine that. I like that kind of iceberg taste on there.
Do you guys eat turkey bacon LTs?
No, not really. But I have been, especially since quarantine started. I have been eating a lot more turkey bacon. Because at first, like when everything first started, I received from my mom 2 packages of chicken bacon, which was pretty good. And I was like, I had went to the store like right after that. I was like, let me get some of this turkey bacon. Let me give it another try. And I was cooking it, and of course, like much of the quarantine, I've been working from home, so I had let it overcook, or thought I let it overcook. And I was just like, oh man, this is what I'm supposed to be doing the whole time, burning it. And it was like magnificent. It was super good.
Make that bitch Cajun style.
It was like, you really gotta just like really let it go with like just short of burning, and it's like crispy, and it was really good. And for a little while, like I would make like a turkey bacon, egg and cheese on like a flatbread, but not too much. I don't really fuck with tomatoes unless I'm paying for the sandwich. Like if I'm at home, I don't put no tomatoes on nothing. But if I go to Wendy's, I don't take the tomato off.
I don't like lettuce without tomato, but I will take tomato without lettuce.
That is very interesting.
I don't really like tomato on any of my stuff.
Yeah. So lettuce and tomato, but no tomato, just by its lonesome.
No, I was saying I don't like lettuce on its lonesome. I like lettuce and tomato together, but I will take tomato on its lonesome.
Okay, lettuce need a homie, but tomato, y'all can
get
it.
I wish I had an analogy for that, but I'm not the analogy king like Ant.
Yeah, I think you got it.
It's clear.
Yeah, like what do you guys? I kind of want to try those spicy McNuggets. Like I haven't been to McDonald's in a while, and I really want to try those.
Do they have them at regular McDonald's? I thought that was just Asian McDonald's.
No, they come here. What did you send us on the gram?
I sent the group chat? I probably sent that a while ago, but I think it should be here soon.
Took them this many years to catch up to Wendy's.
Yeah, but Wendy's just got them back this year. I think they was back this year.
Yeah, they was gone for a little bit.
Why gone at all?
I don't know.
Sometimes to remember that you love something, you gotta let it go for a while.
That makes the heart grow fonder.
I was just about to say, yeah.
Well, speaking of absence, like I missed the spicy chicken biscuit from Chick-fil-A. That used to be the banger in the morning.
I was talking to my buddy the other day, and I was like, "Does Taco Bell still do breakfast?"
Yeah, we asked that.
That was us. You were talking to us, buddy.
Oh well, no, I was talking to my other buddy about it too. I guess I just merged the two conversations because I had the same conversation with my buddy the other day.
He's like, "Let me bounce it off somebody."
They got rid of all their potatoes. Do they still have hash browns?
We were talking about it because he got up the other day, like he's been on vacation all week, and he went to get McDonald's breakfast, and he found out when he got there that they don't do all day breakfast anymore.
Yeah, I found that out a few weeks ago.
Yes, and it made me go onto the Uber Eats app just to see like what the menu was, because like the next day he got up earlier to make sure he could go get breakfast. So I pulled the Uber Eats app up when he went to go do it, and sure as shit, the app in the morning like does have the ability to order McDonald's breakfast. But that's when I asked him. I was like, "Yeah, man." I was like, "I haven't ate Taco Bell breakfast in years." I'm like, "I wonder if they still have that shit."
I'm on their website right now. They do indeed still have the breakfast menu on their website. That doesn't mean,
every location.
Cheesy toasted breakfast burrito, cheesy toasted breakfast burrito potato, meaning they still got potatoes. Hash brown toasted burrito steak, hash brown toasted breakfast burrito, so forth, so on. Yes,
still have
they
potatoes.
do still have breakfast apparently.
So I'm wondering, they probably don't still have potatoes. Maybe they just have still have the hash browns in the morning.
For this particular burrito, yeah, you know what I'm saying, is that they have a cheesy toasted breakfast that is definitely they cheesy fest potatoes. They also have one that's hash browns that's different. It's a hash brown, like it looked like a McDonald's hash brown.
Yeah, because I remember I used to ask. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was also gonna say they also have breakfast salsa, which I don't know is different. How it's different from their other sauce situation.
It got orange juice in it. I used to ask for the hash brown extra, like well done, not like extra well done.
Fry that bitch hard.
Yeah, I remember they straight up and down gave me a potato that was so well done. There was no potato hash brown there. It was no hash to it. It was just all brown, like fried all the way through. I don't know how the fuck they even did that. There was no white part to it. It was all brown. I was like, you sons of bitches. That wasn't even fair. Yeah. So maybe I need to tweet out to not so decent people at Chick-fil-A and let them know that I missed that spicy biscuit. Cause I used to if I used to go there in the morning, I used to get like a couple of them, and that would be like my breakfast and lunch.
Mm-hmm. I mean, do they still just sell the damn
the chicken
spicy
biscuit?
Sandwich?
Yeah, they still do the spicy sandwich.
Shit, but like let me get 2 biscuits and a spicy. I'll make that shit myself.
Chick-fil-A has a good sandwich, but I don't like that I have to sauce it myself.
I mean, they got so many sauces though.
Yo ass eat lettuce and tomato on your cheesesteak. I can't trust you no more, man.
Wait, he had tomato on the cheesesteak too?
Tomato on the cheesesteak.
Lettuce and tomato.
Oh no, I missed that atrocity. I was giving you more credit, man. You're down the total.
I know you hate tomato
now.
though. You're a tomato phobe.
Yeah. But even if I didn't hate tomato, cheesesteak is a sacred thing.
No, I got it from Penn Station, a local establishment. What?
That don't fucking count. Get off! You better get off his back.
Ant already got basically a move plan for us to hit up Philly, because it was like, what was it, a donut spot in Philly we saw?
Philly's got some good food.
Yeah. So we at some point we're gonna road trip to Illy to get our Philadelphia on, and we'll just fucking go to fucking the famous ones, and then we'll go to somewhere that actually has good fucking food.
When we went there, we ate this like little. So yeah, I always you hear about places. It's like, oh, a restaurant inside someone's house, and the only place I've experienced that here in Cleveland was over in Tremont. There is like a faux place. Oh, I mean not a faux place. A Poke Bowl place over by the park, but in Philly, I ate it like a it was like a Asian food place inside. It was like they turned their living room, dining room into a restaurant. It was crazy because like we walked through like a kind of a shady neighborhood, and we just walk up the front porch like we were going in the house, and it was a restaurant. And then like the site where the tournament was at was right next to like their like West Side Market. So it'd be nice to like shop there now that I'm more culinary educated, I would say.
Now does the racist guy still have a cheesesteak spot?
Who's the racist guy?
Order in English only or some shit like that?
I didn't hear about that, but when I went to New York a couple years ago, we stopped in Philly on the way there. Like, we went to Philly, went to a Phillies game. Then after the game, I drove us up to our hotel in New Jersey, which is like right on the border of New York where we were staying. And when we went to Philly that afternoon, I did get a cheesesteak from both Geno's and whatever the other one is. Pets. So I've had Pets. I've had both. I don't remember which one I liked better because it's been like 2 years and I didn't write it down or anything. But,
damn, I'm gonna buy you a notebook for your birthday.
I mean, if you pull up an episode from when we did around that time, I'm sure I said it on one of those past episodes like 2 years ago. So there's a log of it somewhere.
Let's cut right now.
So we had Pat's cheesesteaks first, and it was fine. The fries were all right. Like, the cheesesteak wasn't anything to write home about, I don't think. I got Whiz both times. Okay. So yeah, then we went over to Geno's across the street, and we got theirs. And all right, so the Cheese Whiz at Pat's was kind of like tasteless. It was almost just like yellow coloring on the meat. Mm-hmm. When with the Geno's one, I instantly tasted that craft jar the moment that I bit into it.
All right.
So I enjoyed the Geno's one more. It might have more like pop to it, more flavor for me. Their fries were trash though.
Well, let's go back to the episode and then. Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Oh, it was Geno's. Geno's. They used to have a sign up that said, "This is America. Order in English."
Did they have Childish Gambino like a picture of him with no shirt on?
Oh shit! So I have, of course, as I've been wont to do here during the quarantine specials of this very show, have pulled a multitude of discussion points to go right down. The first one, it upset me a little bit in a weird way. Not like but more about these motherfuckers. So, our governor, Mike DeWine, they want to impeach because God bless him for trying to help somebody, chose a new person to head up the Ohio Department of Health. And the lady he got was running South Carolina's public health whatever, but she's from here. She's like she went to high school in North Olmsted and shit, went to O State and so she's an Ohio person. He was bringing her back fucking home. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this is gonna be dope. And just as he was like, cool, we got her. She coming through. She the next day was like, nah, son, I ain't coming up there. Fuck that. And the reason she said she's not coming up here is because of all the threats the people were making against the former Ohio Health Director, Dr. Amy Acton, who, again, I can't say this enough, saved thousands of lives by making the rules that we had to abide by during the early days of the pandemic. Like, seriously, we this really could have took a turn in this state because it's like we have some bad days recently. It was like Sunday, we had like 1,000 cases in the state of fresh cases of COVID. But it could have been so much worse and without having had Dr. Acton and the governor's guidance early on. And it's so fucked up that they was like, yo, man, this shit was... This lady was like, yo, this shit was not... It was so because they was marching on Dr. Acton's house, you know what I'm saying? And so this lady was like, nah, I ain't coming up there for that. But... course, somebody else was like, nah, man, she wouldn't have made it out of committee because she once had a tweet or something they dug up that said something about her support of that she had worked for Planned Parenthood, like her online resume at some point in 1984. Is when this happened. She worked for Planned Parenthood, and they was like, "Nah, if that would have that as soon as she would have got to the Senate floor or whatever, she probably wouldn't have got the job, or they would have whatever. Forgive me. There was absolutely zero chance of her being confirmed by the Ohio Senate, is what the Ohio Right to Life president Mike Gondidakis has said. So can't call it, man, but it's wild how. how that went down. I'm saying we get a real look. Dr. Acton was beyond qualified. So I'm saying the fact that the governor went out and got, because like I said, when we discussed this earlier on, this is usually a cushy gig. You give this to your political buddies. You don't give this job to qualified people in this state. This particular job is just something you give to your homeboys. It has been that way for a very long time until DeWine was like, "Nah, I actually think I'm gonna get somebody who can do this job." Because Dr. Acton is both a doctor, but also is had studied the needed whatever social stuff. You know what I'm saying? I can't call it whatever her job was to do this, and like I said, she had to quit the game. And this next lady, he got somebody who was just as well experienced, plus local, and you know what I'm saying, at least came up here, and nope. So that was just crazy, man. It's just wild how people just be acting a fool and these other results sometimes.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting take. Like how he's been pretty good about some things with it, because like we shut down pretty early for the most part. We didn't really know. Well, I guess I got two things to say. That's pretty interesting that you said that he wanted to hire somebody who was actually qualified, because the other lady was too, and how could he not after having someone so good at the position the first time?
Yeah.
But I was listening to WTF earlier this week, and it was Martin Short was on there, and he was saying how in Canada, like if you've been somewhere else or coming up there, like you have to quarantine for 14 days no matter what.
Yes.
Or you get fined $750,000 Canadian. I just felt,
is that $750,000 Canadian?
That's what he said.
But I mean, just imagine, like, even if we did like a quarter of that, or just like a little bit of that, like being that serious, how we would have been.
I know like people who traveled at the beginning. Like the one YouTube channel I watch, the bourbon one, when quarantine started, the one guy was on his honeymoon in Jamaica, so he was about to get locked out of the country, and when he got back in, they made him quarantine, him and his wife, for 14 days. So there are some people when they travel have had to do that.
I want to say I just read that Connecticut is requiring people who come into Connecticut from specific states to also do that quarantine. So
yeah, I was as the couple episodes back when I was talking to my friend who just recently moved from here, like I'm thinking that's pretty much going to be the way they're going to do it if they're smart, like all across America. Like, now you come from a hot zone. This shit is definitely going to be like The Last of Us. Like you can't fucking move first, before you get checked out, and you it's always gonna be something. There's gonna be somebody who bit, and they gonna act like they not bit, and all that stuff.
Bruh. And speaking of that Rona, Houston Rockets Daniel House Jr. booted from the bubble for violating safety protocols. Houston Rockets forward Daniel House Jr. has left the NBA campus in Orlando, Florida, and will not play again this season following a violation of the league's health and safety protocols, the league announced Friday. According to the NBA, an investigation found that House had an unauthorized guest in his hotel room for multiple hours Tuesday.
My man.
Mr. House is leaving the NBA campus and will not participate with the Rockets team. In additional games this season, the league said in a statement. I don't like how they always call it a league. It's an association. It's called the National Basketball Association. Let us refer to it as it is, the association. Sources previously told ESPN that House had denied committing any violation. No others, players, or staff had contact with the guest or were found to be involved in the incident, the league said. The association said, I refuse to abide by it any longer. House, the Rockets' sixth man, had averaged 11.4 points and 5.8 rebounds in 9 playoff games in the NBA bubble at the Walt Disney World Resort. He was a late scratch for Game 3 against the Lakers on Tuesday and did not play Thursday either. Houston coach Mike D'Antoni had referred to House 27 as one of the league's most underrated two-way players. the Rocks have lost the past 3 games and trailed the best of 7 series 3-1. Games 5 is Saturday, as from when we record this.
How
I
come it's
saw
never
another story about this, and they were saying that somebody else was kicking it with this. Okay, so this person
Tyson Chandler was the name that was dropped.
The person, this person who he just slid up in his thing is actually one of the COVID testers down there in the bubble. She's one of the ladies who actually test these knuckleheads for COVID, because they get tested. I want to say like every day. They get tested often.
Yeah, the whole problem with this for this dude is, and I can see why he'd want to deny it, is because this dude's wife and 3 children.
Oh,
Bitch.
Just tested for a very long time.
We was just praying, baby.
So the NBA just basically, the NBA just outed this dude for infidelity. Basically,
he was just a tester.
Oh man,
yeah, that sucks.
Want to really make sure, being very thorough, and want to make sure he doesn't have that COVID.
And over and over and over again. Look, we've been doing this show for a very, very, very long time, and consistently, niggas just, your dick is a fucking liar. It is always trying to set you up for fucking failure. Don't listen to it. It's a liar.
Yeah. The whole thing about it too is like, I mean, this dude's got a beautiful wife. He's got 3 great looking kids. They all got good smiles on their face. All he had to do was wait 24 hours. Their season's going to be over tomorrow anyway.
Trust.
This happened a couple days ago.
This shit was a wrap. This shit was a wrap back on like Tuesday.
Oh, goodness gracious. That was just so wild to me when I saw it. I was like, I got to talk to the fellas about this, because I know y'all get a chuckle out of that one.
It seems like J.R. Smith. Like, it's never the star player who's the coxman on the team. It's always somebody who's like, he good, but he ain't never the star. Like Tristan Thompson. How come all of them just play for the Cavs? Let's just say the Cavs is always somebody from the Cavs who's just notorious.
I laugh at the video every time.
Coxman. I still
taste like mayonnaise.
You taste like mayonnaise. I love that video. Tastes like mayonnaise.
Oh shit! So yeah, that was a wild one. Oh, in a follow up from our story on our last episode, the George Washington professor, who was pretending to be an Afro Latina, has go ahead and resigned. A George Washington professor who apologized in an essay last week for assuming identities within a blackness that I had no right to claim. They threw that in quotes. Resigned, the university said. Jessica Krug, a historian with a specialty in Africa and imperialism, said she had identified as a North African, Black, and Caribbean.
Lord have mercy.
When I had absolutely no right to do so. When doing so is the very epitome of violence, of thievery and appropriation, she wrote on the website Medium. Our faculty members will teach Krug's classes this semester, and students will be notified this week, the provost said. The history department at George Washington released a statement asking for her resignation.
They're replacing it with someone black or Latina?
Last week. The members of the faculty of the George Washington University department. We went through that. We went through that part on the last show. Krug rejected her lived experience as a white Jewish child in the suburban Kansas City. She wrote in the essay "The Truth About Fucking People." I just want to know what's going on with this particular part of people at fall. Krug has listed as associate professor and was a finalist of the year for the Frederick Douglass Book Prize. Frederick Douglass rolling in his grave. We just, if y'all recall that joke, then good stuff. A former student who said she took world history of Krug in 2015 told News 4 last week the professor often talked about how cultural appropriation is wrong. It was just really ironic because she was as white as the people she was claiming were appropriating the culture of these people. GW alum Marissa Soltov
it's very meta.
See, that's the whole thing. She's playing a part. She's trying to make a point on a deeper level.
Hariz Zizad, editor of the online publication Race Baiter, BATR, which had published Krug's writings, wrote on Twitter that Krug had confirmed the details of the blog post to him in a phone call last week. The AP reported he described Krug as someone I called a friend up until this morning, when she gave me a call admitting to everything written here. Zazad wrote that Krug claimed to be Afro-Caribbean from the Bronx. He said he had defended Krug in the past against suspicious colleagues. In retrospect, he recalls clues to the deception, including her clearly inexpert salsa dancing and awful New York accent. Michigan State professor Yomira Figueroa Vasquez said she looked. Oh, we talked about her because that's the lady whose tweets.
Oh, come on, my salsa dance is not great either.
That this person has now been contacted as a source for this story. I heard her accent, and that shit was an embarrassment. And that's how I know she was kicking it with white folk. Like, in a setting, they was like, yeah, I guess that's what they sound like. Because, like, she had internet peoples, you know what I'm saying, that she interacted with. But, you know what I'm saying, of course, you don't know because, you just interacting via text. It's a textual relationship. And, bruh, if y'all heard that lady, I would tell y'all to look that lady and listen to how she talk. It's an embarrassment. It is
we'll take your word for it.
So it was shocking. Black 7th grader played with a toy gun during a virtual class. His school called the police. This is by Jacqueline Pizer over at the Washington Post. My apologies for not having given you all the writer of that last article. I should have done that. Danny Elliott was at work last month in Colorado Springs when her 12-year-old son's vice principal called with alarming news. A police officer was on the way to her house, all because her son had played with a toy gun during a virtual art class. Elliott said she was terrified, especially considering her son is black. I never thought you can't play with a Nerf gun in your home because somebody had perceived it as a threat and called the police on you, Elliott said. I want to...
All right, let me see this gun.
I want to send you a picture of the gun. It's in the chat. Elliott's son Isaiah was later suspended for 5 days and now has a record with El Paso County Sheriff's Office and a mark on his school disciplinary paperwork saying he brought a facsimile of a firearm to school. Even though he was in his own home doing a virtual class. The gun was obviously a toy painted black and green with Zombie Hunter on the side. Elliott lashed out at the school arguing that it was irresponsible to call the police given the frequency of police violence against black people. With the cultural events going on right now, especially for young African Americans, you calling the police and telling them that he had a gun, you put his life in jeopardy, Elliott said. Elliott said she thinks the school doesn't understand the possible consequences. In a statement on its Facebook page, Grand Mountain School said, while there has been false information spreading online, it can provide any details on what happened. It can't provide any details on what happened, citing privacy laws. We never have or ever will condone any form of racism or discrimination, the statement said. Safety will always be number one for our students and staff. We follow board policies and safety protocols consistently, whether we are in person or distance learning. The incident happened August 27th, the third day of distance learning at Grand Mountain School. Elliott learned of the trouble when Isaiah's art teacher emailed saying she had notified the vice principal that her son, who has ADHD, was distracted and playing with a gun, which she believed was fake. Elliott responding, assuring the teacher that it was a toy gun and that she would talk to her son about keeping it away during class. But the vice principal had already called the school resource officer to review a recording of the class. The officer watched the footage of Isaiah and another boy pointing the toy gun at the computer screen, according to the police report obtained by KOAA. The other boy was a classmate who was studying at Elliott's house at the time. Deputies later visited his home as well, according to the police report. KDVR reported that the boy is believed to have also received a 5-day suspension. When officers arrived at Elliott's home, her husband Curtis let them in. They explained to Elliott that if he brought a toy gun to school, they could file criminal charges. But when Isaiah's father viewed the body cam footage of the tape from his son's class, he said it only showed Isaiah sitting on the couch, moving the green toy gun from one side to the other, not waving it as the teacher alleged. Over the following few days, Elliot and her husband spoke with the school's principal and vice principal, as well as the district superintendent. They would not budge on Isaiah's suspension and disciplinary record. I said, black children cannot have this sort of thing on their record. You're reducing his chances at success. Elliot said she told police school administrators. She also questioned why the school called for police before notifying her and her husband. Elliot said that the vice principal said her son's safety was the school's top priority, but Elliot argued that calling police puts Isaiah's life at risk. Noting that he is the same age as Tamir Rice, who was shot and killed in 2014 by police in Cleveland while holding a BB gun. Isaiah was traumatized by the experience. He said he was in tears when the police came. Elliot said he was very scared. He said, "Mommy, I had butterflies in my stomach. I was scared and I thought I was going to jail." Elliot also criticized the school for recording the students in class. She said the school didn't get permission from parents. In a statement, Grand Mountain School acknowledged that the digital platform the school uses for virtual teaching has a recording function. During our first week of school, we were still becoming familiar with the platform. It is not our current practice to record classes at this time. Parents will be notified if that changes, the statement said. Elliot and her husband, who both work for the military, decided to pull their son out of the school after the incident, placing him on a wait list for a charter school. She said she hopes his next school better understands and works with the students with ADHD. I wish the world could see my son through the way I see him. He's funny, compassionate, caring, goofy, and yeah, he gets distracted easy, but he's a kid, Elliot said. I hate that the world doesn't see him that way. It's not fair.
So, I know growing up, my mother did buy me like a RoboCop gun once, but I think it was a birthday present and she didn't buy it.
Yeah, but
we weren't allowed to play with guns. We just weren't allowed to play with guns because situations that can pop off.
Yeah.
My immediate reaction was like when I heard it was a Nerf gun, it was like, okay. But then I seen the gun and I was just like, I know as a parent I wouldn't buy that type of gun, but at the same time, that's fucked up for me to think about like that. That's fucking victim blaming. It's clearly a green and orange gun.
Yeah.
Even with the shittiest internet, you can see that.
Yeah.
For police to be called about that it's terrible. I would fucking sue the school system for that.
Yeah. Also, he's at home. He didn't have a gun at school, and I get it. You want to call this your school, but it's not your school. It is his home, where he is surrounded by his toys, and that is difficult. And I know, and I understand that, but that is the case. You know what I'm saying? And so I guess I'm just astounded that an administrator would be like, not only am I suspending your child, not only am I whatever, but I'm also calling one time to your house,
and the kid that didn't do shit that was just sitting there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? To what? Because you have said this child has a gun that may be fake, but guess what? Tamir Rice, the person who called police on Tamir Rice, said this kid is walking around with a gun. It's probably a toy. Said the same fucking thing, and they rolled up and shot Tamir Rice right there in the damn park up the street from my house.
Within seconds.
So even if they go in with an understanding of that it's possibly a toy, sometimes these cops go in just guns a-blazing, quite literally. And so I understand the parents' fear and so forth. When I was little. This is before orange tips. You know what I'm saying? I had a few toy guns, not a lot, but I had what was an Intertech Mac 10, which is the gun from fucking Big Trouble in Little China that Jack Burton uses.
Nice.
And it was you filled a water clip up, so it had a slide-in clip. You filled.
I remember
water,
those type of toys. Yeah.
It had a straw in it that would go in there. You would slide it in. Your clip would lock in. And it had batteries and it would go and shoot water like a machine gun. But that bitch looked like a fucking Mac 10. And nothing about it that said toy. And I can't believe I lived in... but also, once upon a time, we didn't wear seatbelts. It was a different time, people. That shit
I feel like because of our generation, that's why they had to start like putting the orange tips on guns.
Yeah. It had been multiple children who had been killed by cops because, again, they got a habit of just popping because they thought somebody was armed.
No,
I remember kids growing up used to take the marker and paint the inside of their gun.
Yeah.
Like, they used to take off the orange tip.
Good gracious. I have over the years.
It's very dangerous.
I have over the years allowed Xander to have Nerf guns, but they're very toy-like. They're very, you know what I'm saying, robust and looking like a toy. They're super duper glowy orange and blue, and they don't look like actual guns in any way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? And so for a long time, I mean, I bet you if you went into his closet now, unless he's moved into the attic, there's probably a small Nerf armory in my kid's room because, like I said, I allow for it. But then, like I said, Tamir Rice got killed, and I literally had to be like, bro, we can't have guns. So, sorry about that. So we kind of had to, like, that was the kind of like, right around that time is when we stopped buying Xander guns. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I said, that shit happened super close to the house. So I don't really.
What happened to the thin blue line?
I can't link cotton to it. And speaking of cops. Former police officers charged in the George Floyd killing turn and blame on one another. Now these cops, so like you think they would know the whole? No, you're not. You know they're gonna tell you, motherfucker. Hey, he over there talking. Like you think they'd be prepared for this, but also you think they wouldn't just kill people. So hey, can't call them Minneapolis. The 4 former Minneapolis police officers charged in George Floyd's killing appear to be turning on one another, with each offering significantly different versions of the infamous arrest that acknowledge Floyd should not have been allowed to die that day, but also deflect blame to the others. The 4 men have said in court documents that they all thought someone else was in charge on the scene on May 25th, with rookie officers arguing they were deferring to veterans, and the veterans saying he was simply assisting in the arrest that was in progress. All have said in court documents that the relationship between the veteran officer, Derek Chauvin, and the others is at the heart of the issue, as each officer perceived their role and who was in charge quite differently. Chauvin was the officer shown with his knee on Floyd's neck as he struggled to breathe in the videos of the ill-fated arrest. There are very likely going to be an antagonistic defense presented at trial. Earl Gray, this nigga's name's Earl Gray, a lawyer for Thomas K. Lane, wrote in a legal motion filed here this week. It is plausible that all officers have different versions of what happened, and officers place blame on one another. Gray and lawyers for Chauvin, J. Alexander Kang and Tu Thao, have been arguing to separate the former officer's case for purpose of trial, citing competing stories from their clients about the events that led to the 46-year-old black man's death. The officers are scheduled to appear in court Friday as a judge takes up the question. Prosecutors have been asking for a joint trial. Minneapolis authorities are locking down the area and the courthouse because of planned protests Friday. Windows of the government building have been boarded up by law, and law enforcement officials are setting up a perimeter to keep protesters at a distance. Floyd died May 25th while handcuffed and restrained face down on a South Minneapolis street as police investigate a 911 call about a counterfeit $20 bill that had been passed at Cup Foods, a local convenience store. Why do you call 911 for a counterfeit bill? I'm going to just skip ahead a little bit because I don't want to rehash George Floyd being murdered. While police often stand in solidarity during use of force investigations, Floyd's case could be an unusual departure, with the officers who allegedly played a role in his killing arguing that the other officers should be held to account instead. Eric Nelson, Chauvin's lawyer, said his client did not know the full picture of what was happening when he arrived on the scene at 38th Street and Chicago Avenue and saw Kang and Lane struggling to get Floyd into a squad car. Nelson, who argued that Floyd died of a drug overdose and not from Chauvin's knee restraint, blamed the rookie officer in a motion filed this week, suggesting they had mishandled the scene and caused Floyd's death. He said the former officer delayed in requesting the ambulance because they suspected Floyd might be on drugs or is having a medical issue, and they did not know enough to try to calm Floyd down by sitting him on the sidewalk or rendering aid instead of struggle. If EMS had arrived just 3 minutes sooner, Mr. Floyd may have survived. If Kang and Lane had chosen to de-escalate instead of struggle, Mr. Floyd may have survived, Nelson wrote. If Kang and Lane had recognized the apparent signs of an opioid overdose and rendered aid, such as administering naloxone, I don't know what that is, Mr. Floyd may have survived. Now, mind you, no one, including the various, coroners and the like, medical examiners, has said that this man died of a drug overdose. This lawyer just pulled that out his ass. But I guess that's what a good lawyer should do. If a good defense lawyer should do, he should be giving you some plausible deniability. Chauvin has been charged with second-degree murder and manslaughter, while Kang, Lane, and Thao have been charged with aiding and abetting murder. All four were fired by the Minneapolis Police Department and are defendants along with City of Minneapolis in a wrongful death suit filed by Floyd's family. Justice Department officials also are investigating and are said to be nearing a decision on possible federal charges in this case. According to sources familiar with the investigation who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they are not authorized to speak publicly. I'll let that walk at that point. There's a lot more to that story, but you get the gist of it.
No, go ahead, T.
I was just saying that thin blue line that we always hear about. Just got it.
I mean, I know I'm not a a type of person like a stop snitching type person, but it does show a certain level of weakness that they're blaming a lot of different people instead of being like, I could have did this better, I could have did this better. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, somebody died on your hands. If all four of us are in the car and I kill somebody, y'all get in trouble.
Yeah.
If us just being citizens, why shouldn't they be held to the same accountability?
Yeah, same standard. And so, I don't know. I do know, and you know it too. And so we just we hope for better. Damn it, the Celtics have pulled in closer on the Raptors. I'm unhappy about that. I want the Celtics to lose.
Why?
I don't like them, and that's one of my old school I don't like them kind of things. So like I don't fucking like any New England teams, man. I hate that whole area of the country's sports teams.
I'm rooting for New England Patriots this year.
I guess I should root for the New England Patriots because they got my man not Cap, but they got my man
Cam Newton.
Cam, but.
Rooting is a strong word. I'm willing to watch them this year.
I will hope for the best for that man. How about that? That is how I will word that. It is 40-39 now. It is too tight. I'm just gonna close this window. I don't need that in my life. All that having been said, saying that portion of the program kind of moves on, man. Like I said, I guess I'll go through some news and have my man's opinions on the situation and kind of how we roll and how he gets down. So, Ant, man, what's been popping with you, bruv?
So I was listening to the Doughboys on Thursday.
Yeah.
And I thought about one of my, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, one of my biggest regrets. So Eliza Skinner was talking about how she wished she could have a Happy Meal, and she was talking about how she purchased a toy from eBay, and I was just thinking about how at a garage sale about 10 15 years ago, I bought all this lady's McDonald's land Transformer toys. Like, I had all of them. I had the hot cakes, I had the fries, I had all of them, and I had a double set of all of them. And I remember right before I moved into the house I'm living in now, I sold them all on eBay. And I regret that shit so much now. It's only 2 things in life that I sold that I regret. And I mean, I had about 20 of them, so I guess that's 20 regrets. And then I sold my cool gray Jordan 4s. Really the only pair of shoes the only pair of Jordans I've ever sold. I regret that to this day. In those McDonald land toys. Do you guys have any I know people have buyer's remorse, but you ever had seller's remorse or anything? Like, shit, I shouldn't have sold that.
Oh, I truly wish that every video game console I traded to like move up to the next video game console, because that's usually how it worked. That I still had. You know what I'm saying? I still wish I had my Wii. I still wish I had my Wii U. I wish I had my OG Xbox, so forth. I wish I would have kept those things. And now, like I said, I'm very specific about like as we're in the midst of as we are about to go into a console transition. I have very much been like, I'm just coming out the pocket this go around. Nothing's getting traded in, and in fact, everything will just move. Like I'll take the Xbox One X over here. That's over here on the TV now. That'll just go up in my room, and if anything, I could have a 4K Blu-ray player upstairs in my room. And so forth. And so that is my seller's remorse. Just like shit I flipped at GameStop or Record Exchange, or in one case Hollywood Video. I'll tell you the story of this. This shit to this moment still pisses me off. So when the Wii was coming out, the OG Wii was coming out, Hollywood Video had their little game store. What the fuck was Hollywood Video's game store called? Something to that effect, yeah. And so I went in there and I traded in my OG Xbox and my GameCube toward a Wii, with the expectation that was putting the money that I traded onto a Wii. And then when I went in there to go discuss it, and like weeks later, to say when it was time, it's like I just wanted to make sure, because I don't think I had enough money to pay it off. I just went to go make sure I put a little more on it to pay it off. And it was like, oh, we had pre-orders already. They came with. I go, yeah, I traded in my shit to y'all for this pre-order. What are you talking about? I have the credit in the system. And they was like, we ain't know. Sorry. And it's like, I was just incensed off that shit right there. That never in my life was like,
yes.
Yeah. Because they fucking played me. But what worked out in that regard and was my ex-wife's aunt, ex-husband. Whew, man, that's some reach. Just came through on the day the week came out. Came over with God. I just wanted to let you have it, man. I just wanted to let you see, check it out, man. You know what I'm saying? I know they played you on your pre-order and shit, bruh. And we set it up, we played it, it was a good time, and I was like, all right, man. I put it back in the box and gave it to him. He's like, oh no, that's yours, man. Merry Christmas.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man. Ray put me on, man. He brought me a Wii. He brought me that Wii, and he brought me my first Xbox 360. Ray is I'm saying, because Ray's still alive, but you know, him and his wife are his ex-wife aren't together no more. He's a dope dude, man. He looked out for me, man, a lot. So respect due to my man.
I thought he was a real cool guy.
Yeah, man. I like Ray a lot, bro. Ray. So I guess I'm saying this has nothing to do with regrets, but we're gonna pull a quick little side story. My ex-wife was younger than me by a lot. She was when I look back on it, I'm like, you was kind of creepy, dog. You was dating way too young a woman, and I feel bad about that now. But at the time, who knew? I did. I mean, I guess you know what? I guess I didn't know, because I ended up marrying a woman. You know, we had kids and shit. So I mean, whatever. But that means she left her family. She left her family for me. You know what I'm saying? And we went off to go start a life together and so forth and so on. And but she as life went on, but she was not talking to her family, because you know what I'm saying, she was saying she was with me and so forth. Her grandma got sick and passed away, and they needed pallbearers and stuff, and they asked, they even though they didn't know me, like literally I had not met these people at all before this, and they was like, would your husband would you be willing to be a pallbearer? And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. What y'all don't know, what they didn't know, and a lot of people don't know, is I'm definitely afraid of coffins at that point in my life. Just don't fuck with them, they scare me. And but I was like, I gotta do this because I gotta do this. And so I did. I did what I was supposed to do, and I was a pallbearer at this funeral, and I played my part, and I kept it moving. And so Ray, so let's say it was you know, saying what it is okay at that point. Okay, so now my ex-wife is talking to her family again. They kind of got a rapport going. She would go over there for holidays. But I wouldn't. I would just drop her off and go my ass home and come back and get her eventually, or they would bring her home, whatever. So Thanksgiving of that year, having after her grandmother passed, I took her over there, dropped her off, and kept her moving. And I guess Ray blew the spotter because Ray was known to blow the spotter. That was the problem. That's the problem with Ray. He was a habitual line. He is a habitual line stepper. Was like, what? Y'all can't. We ain't gonna have tea over. You know what I'm saying? They basically asked for the white for Christmas, I guess. And so they was like, yeah, that's, you know what I'm saying. This man just, you know what I'm saying, was just, you know, he helped at y'all mother's funeral and shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all kind of, you know what I'm saying, gotta be cool. Invite him over. You know what I'm saying? So Ray got me in, and after that, it was cool. I was there for holidays, and I was there for whatever afterwards. That's where I was accepted into that family after that point. And you know what I'm saying, you know how they are. They love your boy now. You know what I'm saying, and so forth. So even now, you know what I'm saying, years since my ex-wife has passed on, they are still dope to me and treat me well and do right by my kids and stuff. But that was the intro right there, was because Ray is a good dude, and like I said, constantly looked out for me, man. And I thought it was just dope that I still think it's dope that he does that. I see him. He pops up on my various consoles. You know what I'm saying? So I know he's still out there. But yeah, after him and his wife got a divorce, he just you know was gone. Basically, you know what I'm saying? He was not a part of my life anymore. And I randomly bumped into him up at Lakewood Park once upon a time, and I was like, "Hey, come here!" and he comes over. Hadn't seen the kids in years. And he was almost in tears because it's like it struck him that the kids are grown up and don't know who he is anymore. That their mom had passed away. Me and him was just sitting there just ciphering him, like almost in tears and shit together. You know what I'm saying? Because it had been so long. But you know what I'm saying? His current wife came over and met me and just showed love, and we just kind of kept it moving, kind of kept it cool. But respect due to that cat, man, for looking out for me for many years when I was you know what I'm saying, just the in-law on the other side of the family, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, but like it's always somebody on, you know, when you're in a relationship with somebody you look forward to seeing.
Yeah.
On that other side, it's like, well, if you gonna be there, I definitely be there.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, man. So like now, when we got to go to like my like Vanessa's folks events, you know what I'm saying, which actually probably won't be happening this year, when her little sister or baby sister's husband is there, it's always dope. You know what I'm saying? Me and him got a vibe. You know what I'm saying? We both gamers, but we are both chill, and so like me and him will just kick it and get each other through it. You know, so
yeah, it's always good to have that one person, because like just sitting there with nobody to talk to is a drag, but you don't want to be unsupportive at the same time for your partner. Like, so it's always nice to either have some good headphones and a well-charged phone, or
I never thought about rocking headphones. I probably could. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I probably would get real talking to if I try to pull that off.
I'm not disrespectful. It'll be wired so you can see it.
Yeah.
And also one earbud out. But now, you know, my kids, I mean, of course, we haven't been visiting anybody because, you know, the times we're in.
Yeah.
And my kids are older, and like my boys usually are sitting with me or talking to me the whole time. So, I mean, in these times coming up, I'm sure it'll be all right. But yeah, before then, I always bring my own chair. Like, I always bring my own folding chair. Like, in my trunk, I usually have a folding chair anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's never anywhere to sit. And ain't nobody going to offer me no seat. So, I always make sure I got my own folding chair with me. So, I can just post up, sit by a tree or something, and have my phone and my headphones in. And when my girl ready to go, she'll come get me.
Right on. Well, to back on subject, man. Any regrets, my gentle sirs?
I'm looking forward to hearing yours, Lunch, because I know you were a collector of sorts. So
yeah, the first thing that comes to mind for me is my Magic the Gathering cards.
Oh wow!
Because I mean, when I sold out that last time when I used that money for the down payment of my car, that was really like the second time I had sold out. Like when I was like starting community college after high school, I sold some stuff that I had to pay for like the first semester, and if I had held on to that shit, a lot of it's worth 6-7 times what I sold it for back then, last I knew. So like I'd have a collection worth tens of thousands of dollars right now if I didn't do that stuff back then.
Do you have any racist cards?
Probably.
There's racist.
Those ones were my favorites.
Oh yeah, you weren't on that episode.
Yeah, I was. I know what you're talking about.
No,
I wasn't.
Oh. Yeah, those ones were my favorites. I tried to get the artists to sign them and everything.
Oh wow. Can you, should I Google this?
It's interesting.
It's one with some. Is it like one called Cooney with like big lips or something?
Like a couple of them I didn't quite get, but yeah, there were a few where I was like, I can understand. Like one of them I remember was Jihad, that they were banning or whatever. Yeah, like a lot of the earlier stuff was a little racy, so like we're talking like '93. So a lot of time has passed. A lot of social justice has come and.
As it turns out, the designer at that point in time, at least one of the designers was we found out was a bit of a neo-Nazi situation too. So it was some things going on there. So
yeah, just a bit.
Yeah, but like so, even though like I don't play anymore, like that stuff was always was a big part of my youth. Like it's how I met a lot of people that I still talk to this day. And like even right now, like if I were to tilt the camera, the giant lithograph on the wall behind me is alternate art to a card that I got for Christmas from my mom like 7 years ago. So like I have tattoos on my arms from playing that game. Like that was a big part of my youth, and like I traveled the world because of that game. Well, I traveled the United States because of that game.
Well, you flew across the goddamn Pacific Ocean. I'm counting it. Hawaii is far as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you paid $17 for milk.
That shit was expensive. But yeah, I mean that game was the reason the first time I went to Philadelphia. I went to Indianapolis for the first time because of that game. I've been to Michigan a bunch of times because of that game. I went to New Jersey for the first time and went to the Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash because of that game. I went to North Carolina because of that game. That was when I was on the website and like won a couple $100. Like at that time was the biggest tournament they'd ever had, and it's like over 2,500 people or something, and I got like 57th or something. I got to play on the Pro Tour and flew to Hawaii. That game was a big part of my life, and it was some stuff like I wasn't like a big household name, but like I like to think that I was pretty good, and met some people and did some things I'm proud of, and probably did a couple things here and there that I'm not proud of, but you live and you learn, you grow up, and so I wish I still had some of that stuff. Just like as keepsakes, but it is what it is. Like maybe someday, like if I ever strike it rich or something, like I'll go buy like a copy of my favorite card or something just to like frame or something like that. My favorite card, I know you guys have no idea what it is, but I'll say it, but you won't know what the hell it is that I'm talking about. It's called Survival of the Fittest. And it is a card from one of the earlier sets in the 90s. The picture of it is two goblins, and the one goblin has a pickaxe, and the other goblin it's all on the ground bloodied because the other one just like fucking shanked it to death. And it was a card basically where it was you'd pay a resource. It was a resource, and it was two resources to play, and you'd pay a resource to discard a creature card from your hand, and then you would search your deck and put a creature card in your hand from your deck. So it was a way of like basically searching out what you needed. But I just like the art, and the I had some decks that I played that like ran with combo that used that card, and I don't know, it was just some of the most fun I had playing that game. It was always like my favorite card. But then I have a second favorite, which was the reason that I got on the Pro Tour, called Instigator Gang, and I always remember it because around that time, the South Park episode with Russell Crowe fighting around the world
I love that episode.
was it was really popular, and on the card art, it was the set where it introduced a world that was like ghosts and werewolves and shit like that. And it was the first time they developed cards where like the cards flipped. So like when they were in play, if nothing happened on that turn, they transformed into werewolves. And so in order to get into that tournament in Hawaii, I had to win a qualifying tournament in Pittsburgh. And basically that tournament was like you paid like $45 or something like that. I don't remember quite what the price was at the time, but you paid the money to get in the tournament, and then they gave you like a pool of like 6 booster packs or something, and you had to make a deck out of the cards they give you in the packs, and then you play in a tournament. I think it was 7 rounds, might have been 8, and the top 8 get to do a draft. And whoever wins that draft pod wins the tournament and gets the invite to the Hawaii tournament. And the Swiss rounds, I lost in the first round, so I ended up having to win every round after the first round. I was basically on any loss at that point would have knocked me out. So I ended up running the table at that point, made the top 8, and then I obviously won. So I won the first 2 rounds of the top 8, and it came down to me and another guy. And you're not allowed to negotiate any point in the tournament. Otherwise, if someone finds out like you made a dealer or something, like say you told someone you give them $100 if they concede to you or something like that, that shit's illegal. But for whatever fucking reason, when you get to the finals, you're allowed to talk to each other. And so like making the finals guaranteed you a booster box as a prize. And so we each got a booster box, and then the winner got to go to the tournament. So, like, I proposed the loser got both boxes, and the winner got to go to Hawaii. And the dude's like, oh, that's fair. And I was like, well, do you actually want to go to Hawaii? And he gave me this heartfelt story about, like, how it was his dream and this, that, and the other. And, like, he was hoping that I would concede and just take the 2 boxes. Like, I didn't want to go to Hawaii. And I was like, sorry, dog. I guess we're going to have to play. And then I ended up smashing the dude, beat him 2 games in, like, 5 minutes. And I remember sliding the 2 boxes over to him as he was about to cry. And because they, like, give you an envelope that has paperwork in it. It was called the blue envelope because the envelope was blue. And it had paperwork in it that you had to fill out to send to Hasbro so that they could like work on booking your flight to the Hawaii. And I actually still have the envelope, and I saw it the other day when I was looking at those LeBron rookie cards. It's in a box in my room, and I never filled out the form that they gave me. I used the online one, so I still have the envelope with all the paperwork in it, unfilled out and everything. And but the main card I had in that draft deck in the top 8 that I won was Instigator Gang, and the picture was like it's like a gang of werewolves all back to back.
They
and the
fight
one's
in
got
Irish.
his fists up like this, and
Notre Dame style,
like the Russell Crowe. So that's why my friends called it Russell Crowe, and so that's why that's my second favorite card because I used that one to win that tournament to get to go to Hawaii. That one I'm sure I could buy off a website for like $1, but it has sentimental value.
What about you, Gabe? I'm looking forward to hear yours too, since, like, I don't know what you really collect. You're not really a kind of a collector type of guy.
Not really, and I haven't resold a lot of stuff, but there's one thing, and I think only Lunch will appreciate this.
I have a guess.
What is it?
I'm guessing animals.
Oh, no. One thing I sold that I regret. I think I traded for some money the Nintendo 64 and the video game WWF No Mercy on the Nintendo 64.
Oh man, that was such a good fucking game.
I know, and there's not been a game like it since, and I just really enjoyed it.
Like the 2 WCW ones, like obviously like the first one that came out like sold out was like the originator. And then, like, WWE had WrestleMania 2000, which was good. But then, like, when No Mercy came out, like, it just, like, it felt like they took it to another level. It was done in such a perfect way.
I like the WCW games more than I like No Mercy. I was weird about that kind of shit. I was very precious about, you know what I'm saying? the my N64 games.
I really loved No Mercy though.
Because
that was
No Mercy was
hours.
I want to say it was an EA drop. It was an EA joint.
Yeah.
And the other ones were whoever Kai made them, but I don't know who put them out. And I was like, this is just EA trying to bite their whole style. And I was mad about that shit because I'm a hater.
I played that game for hours upon hours, like ridiculous amount.
Oh, I logged so many hours into that game. I remember it had like a bunch of characters to unlock, and you either could play through the story mode to try and unlock them, or you could do this thing where it was like 110 person Royal Rumble or something, and like every 10 characters, like one of the unlocked people would come out, and if you eliminated them, you would unlock them that way rather than having to go through the whole game. And I remember like our game data got erased, and rather than go through the game and unlock them again, I got so good at that game that I was able to clear that Royal Rumble mode. Like I would just grab like Bradshaw, and he had like the one strike where like if you it was the hold strike, and he would do like a clothesline, but it was like a clothesline that would knock people back, and you could knock them into the ropes and they would fall over. So I would just stand in the middle of the ring and wait for the person to come out, and then I would try and club them to get them to fall backwards. And then he had the running clothesline from hell, so if they didn't go out right away, I'd grab them and whip them into the rope, and then I'd run up behind them and clothesline them so they'd go flying over the rope. And I would just sit there for like 45 minutes or whatever it was. And actually, no, it probably took over an hour to do it. But I would just clear the whole thing and unlock all the people.
Another neat trick was to take Perry Saturn and just keep doing the leg sweep over and over again.
I remember in the one WCW game, this is a taboo name, but Chris Benoit. There was so like I was at my buddy's house.
What happened to him?
Benoit. Funny story. Funny you should ask. But anyway, I was Benoit, and my buddy was a wrestler named Conan, and I don't know what it was. But, like, we started the match running at each other, and I hit the quick clothesline button, so Benoit would do this, like, left-handed clothesline. And Benoit's finisher, like, it was a cross-face submission. But, like, you didn't have to have a special bar to do it in that game, because it was just, like, a normal hold for most people. So, like, I hit the clothesline, and I immediately held the grapple button. So, like, when the guy landed on his belly, it just automatically went into the crossface. And, like, I don't know what it was, but he tapped out within, like, 2 seconds. So it's like, we thought it was a glitch, and then I ended up doing it again, like, 3 more times. So for whatever reason, if we ran at each other, clotheslined him, and then immediately put him in the crossface, Conan would tap out, just further proving Canada's dominance over Mexico.
Oh, Jesus.
I do remember, like, yeah, you guys are definitely naming some names that's bringing back some memories.
Oh my goodness, my son has my 64, and a pretty wide range of games still. That's also been kind of fun watching. Again, if we reflect back on like things I've traded away, but I didn't. I never traded that 64 away because it was it's like super important to me. So that is one. He has my. It is not my original N64. It is my second N64. My original N64 was stolen from the house I was in, and the kid's mom at the time worked at Hills in Parma. Yeah,
Southland.
And on a humble tucked away dough, and bought me an N64 to replace the one that got stolen. And so I still have that N64. And so and my kid plays it, and like once upon a time remember when they used to have, once upon a time we had a drive-in theater around here that had a flea market on the weekends.
Yes, I used to love that flea market.
I went to that flea market, right, and I come across this dude selling a bunch of N64 controllers, and he just was like, I was like, oh, that was fucked up. He's like, how do you know which one's good, which one is bad? I go, here, let me show you. And I hold the controller flat in my hand, and I'm like, you see that stick right there? And I was like, way over here. That shit is a busted N64 stick. And you see this one right here? Literally perfection. Stick standing up straight as a fucking, I don't know, an arrow. And I was like, yeah. But he had priced him wrong because he was a moron and didn't know what the value of his product. And so I got that. I have the perfect N64 controller that I have, the gray OG that came with the system, that I bought at a flea market years after the fact. That is still, like I said, upstairs in Xander's room right now. Still perfect, because I taught my son how to use a goddamn N64 controller. The problem was people fucked up that stick. They didn't know how to use it because it was the first time we had analog sticks on controllers. It was new. It was a new idea to people. So they fucked up them controllers, and like I said, N64 controllers be notorious, bro. They just be like all lopped off and leaning in, and just like you've done a disservice.
I blame it on Mario Party.
Mario Party.
You know how many fucking blisters I had on my hands because of that fucking game?
Literally, people there's a class action lawsuit against them for that very thing. They ended up having to send. They had to send people gloves because people would do this. So you know the Trident style N64 controller. They would do this on Mario Party and like get like fucking a stigmata and shit.
Oh wow.
Yeah, dude, I had so many fucking blisters from trying to do like the fishing games and shit. Because we would sit there and play it for hours trying to collect coins to unlock all the fucking bonus shit. And it's like a lot of those games are speed race games and shit where like the computer is on the advantage because like they don't have a body that they got to worry about. They just pull the shit back. Whereas I'm here with my flesh having to roll this little analog joystick back and forth, you know? And it's like you're trying to win, so it's like you got to hurry up and go. Yeah. But you got nothing between your skin and the plastic, so after a couple hours of that shit, you just end up with a blister on your hand.
Oh my god! Respect to the N64. People always talk wild about that controller, but I love that controller. On a low, you can use on like GoldenEye and Perfect Dark. They had it so you could plug in two N64 controllers and do dual analog controls before that was a thing, because it only had one analog stick. So you can still to this day plug in two N64 controllers and do dual analog controls like we do nowadays. Only two separate 64 controllers. Add that to your repertoire, people. That's how we get down.
Yeah, the N64 that I recently checked out, that because I thought it didn't work, but it does work.
Yeah,
was the N64 that was at my grandmother's house. So like I bounced around growing up, where like I lived at my one grandmother's, but like I would go to my other grandparents' house sometimes, and then like I'd go to my dad's, and then I had an N64 that was at the other grandparents' house, but then it ended up being at my dad's house, which when I moved out of my dad's house, all my shit got left behind. They kept my N64 and all my games that were there. But I had a second N64 that I had at my grandmother's house where I lived, and that one made it in the move, but a lot of the games were dispersed between my brothers and whatnot. So the only game that was still with the system was like War Gods or Gods of War or some shit like that.
Nice. You still got that?
Yeah, I played it when for a couple minutes when I was testing out the system, and man, that game was shitty.
That is a midway fighting game, and yeah, you're right, it is shitty. But I love it.
I think like we got it solely based on the way the fucking box looked, because like I didn't enjoy playing it as a kid, but I was never gonna tell my grandmother that. And like now, when I was trying to play it, I was like, God, man, this is terrible.
As we walk the gaming route, last week Nintendo announced that they're gonna release Super Mario 3D All Stars, which is on the Switch, which is Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy on one cart. They're not too redone. Like they're a little higher resolution, higher textures on Mario 64, but still 4x3 and still whatever. Sunshine got a boost in resolution and got widescreen support, and Galaxy is just is going to run in full HD. So I'm very excited because they announced it last week and it comes out next week. So it's like that's super quick. By the time, actually, in fact, by the time you hear this show, assuming I get it out on time, the next day that game will be out. So I'm pretty excited about that. Microsoft also announced this week they announced a second console is coming out this season. It's the Xbox Series S to go along with the Xbox Series X. And that one is all digital and only $299, which is kind of a fucking steal. So that's impressive. But they have gone ahead and announced pricing and release dates for their new console. The Series X, S, and X come out November 10th at $299 and $499 respectively. One comes with a disc drive and all the bells and whistles, and the other one not so much. So, but that $299 deal is outrageous, an outrageous value. So I'm pretty hyped about that. So everybody now is waiting for Sony to go ahead and pull the trigger and announce their pricing, and we'll see what they say. People seem to think Sony is going to go with $600, and I'm like, I hope not. I just go with that. I hope not. But as we push along, damn man, what's been going on with you, bro? That you care to share with the listeners?
I cut the grass today. I have a job interview next week, but I can't talk about it because our line of business, and I want my info out there. I almost pulled a Gabe today on Twitter and got mad at our president and some other people and had to stop myself.
I saw that.
Yeah, I let a couple slip out, but then I was like, I better take a step back because I could do this all day.
I've seen you do it, so yes, you are correct.
Yeah. Got to watch football last night, which was pretty cool. Honestly, when the game started, I really just went on Twitter for a minute to see if there were people on the Twitter feed talking about, like, I'm never watching football again. But more of that came out today than yesterday, from what I hear. I didn't know that they booed the players in the pre-show or whatever when they all locked arms. Because I was, like, getting ready, and I think I got up to go to the bathroom at one point. Because, I don't watch the national anthem either. But that's the thing that always killed me about it is, like, the people that bitch about the players kneeling during the national anthem, like, but the people who go to these games, the majority of the time, they're not even at their fucking seats anyway. They're out buying beer and, like, still getting into the stadium. It's not like they stop at the turnstiles and be like, look, sir, don't scan my ticket just yet. I have to put my hand over my heart. But getting to watch football again was pretty cool. Like, I enjoyed it. I don't know, man. We recorded a couple days ago. Not a whole lot has gone on in my life. I still haven't left the house. I know it's unexciting, but that's what my life's been. I'm planning on going out on Sunday, though, maybe getting COVID, so we'll see how that goes.
What were your thoughts on the game?
The Chiefs' offense looks fucking unstoppable. I couldn't legitimately think of a single thing that could prevent them from doing whatever the fuck they want. Because they have everything and a proven QB to run it and a offensive coach who's, like, got a track record of being really good. So watching them, like, it's like the running back they got, he looks really fucking good. And, like, even if he wasn't as good as he is, he would look good because, like, their receiving core is so fucking fast and they move them around so much pre-snap that, like, it keeps the defense. It's like how, like, San Francisco moves their players around to throw the defense off for their running plays, but Kansas City does the same thing, but they do it for their passing plays. And it's like they have all these receivers that run like 4.3 40s, so it's like you have a hard time stopping all of them because they're all running around at this incredible speed. But, like, they don't just set up and then go. It's like they set up and then this one moves from this side to this side, or this one goes in motion and he might get the ball on a sweep. And it's like they have so many different options to run out of all these sets that it's like watching, and I'm like, how does the defense stop this unless they go and get players on their defense that all run 4.2 40s and just try and keep up? Because it's insane. Because, like, Tyreek Hill, like, he can run. He's like the fastest fucking in the league, and then you pair him with Mahomes, who's got, like, the strongest arm. The dude just runs by everybody and catches, like, 60-yard bombs. And he's like 5'3".
It's like Andy Reid got that monkey off his back of not winning the Super Bowl, and is like he was so just chill at the post game at the press conference, just like, hey man, thanks. Somebody asked him about his visor because his visor was fogging up, and he's like, yeah, he goes, we'll have to do something about that next time. But hey, thank you for asking that question. Thanks for being concerned. I was like, he's just relaxed, vibing. His man like, yeah, I got my fucking ring. It's giant. It's filled like a billion carats worth of diamonds.
I mean, yeah, for a guy who, like, for people who dedicate their entire lives to trying to accomplish something that may never happen.
Yeah.
To be, he's in his 60s at this point, and he's a giant man. So it's like, that's usually aren't a good combination for longevity. To finally achieve something that he's worked his entire life for, that's got to be fucking good. Especially on the night where, like, they have the ceremony raising your banner and everything. Yep. Like, I'm sure he was on cloud nine. Like, nobody could have told him shit last night.
Yeah, and I like as we've discussed many times in the past, Philadelphia used to be my NFC squad, kind of still are, but
I like the McNabb Eagles when they had like T.O. and shit. Like they were fun to watch.
Yeah.
So Andy Reid kind of is like one of them dudes. I'm like, I like you, man, and I've liked you for years at this point, and it's kind of like, look at you, man. Look at you out here succeeding. You know what I'm saying? And you're right. They did some shit last night, and I'm just like, y'all just really about to run through this whole season, ain't y'all?
Yeah, and then they've got players on defense, too. It's like they're not one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Like, they've got pass rush and defensive tackle. They got the defensive end, Frank Clark. They got Taryn meth head Honey Badger at safety. They have a couple decent corners, although the one's suspended, the other one's hurt. But, like, I don't know who the fuck plays linebacker for them, but... Like, at that point, like, it's the same thing the Browns have. It's like, I know their line, I know their secondary, and then it's like, who the fuck plays linebacker, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like they're not just offensive team. Like, they have players on defense, too. It's like, it's fucking insane how stacked that team is right now.
It's good stuff, man. Only team I give a fuck about is the Browns, but I mean, it's dope. Like I said, it's dope seeing Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes and all these guys do the goddamn thing, man. So I respect the hell out of it. It's kind of good to see football. It was weird to see a stadium. It wasn't full of people. It was by far super empty, like way empty. But
it was only weird when they actually showed the crowd.
Yeah.
I thought that the piped-in crowd noise was going to be weird during the actual game itself, but having watched it now, because they've done it in wrestling, and in wrestling it's weird. But that's because, like, in wrestling, the crowd usually dictates who's the good guy and who's the bad guy.
Yeah.
With football, it's like they're always cheering the home team, and then, like, the away team's always, like, get some jeers. Yeah. But, like, with wrestling, it's like it could change. There is no home team and no away team. So, like, watching it last night, I was just watching football. And I didn't even think about the noise until, like, the game was almost over. Like, the thought never even crossed my mind that there was only, like, a quarter of that stadium full, but we're hearing the shit. Like, it just, to me, felt like a normal football game. So,
that has been that has been something I found interesting in both the bubble and in baseball games this season, and this COVID season. In basketball, I find it dope because I kind of like the more quiet situation they got going on. You know what I'm saying? Because you get a better feel for the game itself. You can hear what players are saying to each other.
The one thing about, like, basketball, like, especially like when I've gone to games, I honestly, like, I know a lot of people who, like, are more casual about basketball than I am. Yeah. I know, like, at the moment I'm a little casual about it, but that's just where my life is at. But in the past, I was more passionate about it. Going to games, I hate the quote-unquote fan experience.
Yeah.
I don't like that when they play music during possessions. I hate the timeout T-shirt tosses and all that razzle-dazzle bullshit. Like, I know, people go to the game and they want, like, a show and all that. Like, I don't mind, like, a halftime show or whatever. But I just hate, like, oh, they called a 2-minute timeout. Let's all run out there and throw some plastic basketballs into the crowd. Like, oh, here comes the people who play drums on buckets. Oh, here comes a guy to jump on a trampoline to dunk a ball. Like, I mean, I'm sure kids probably love that shit, but, like, if you go to, like, a couple games a season, I'm just like, God, fuck, just let me like, be quiet for a minute and, like, focus on the game. Like, or it's like when they're dribbling down the court and they're playing, like, 90s hip hop music, like, just let me watch the game. I'm not here to listen to a Salt and Pepper concert.
I think they said that right too, Peppa.
Well, like I said,
although Salt and Peppa did play a halftime game at a halftime show at a game I went to last year.
Yeah, but I was at that game.
Is that the one I got you the tickets? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that has been, like I said, one of the things about bubble basketball that I've enjoyed the. Like I said, the clear nature of being that, because they are like they at this point they put the cameras down there. They just hanging out. They almost have like NBA 2K style cameras. They really do have the camera like wire works and stuff like that, and they're always down there. It's quiet enough in these the two courts they play on that you can hear their player communication like loud and clear, and it's like kind of dope. And I feel like you develop a more of appreciation for the game at that point. And I have dug on that. For baseball, they do pump in noise, and depending on where you watch it, they might put in an animated crowd or whatever. But it's been fun to see, like, some stadiums have cardboard cutouts in the stands, and like people like have like, hey, I found myself in the stands, because I guess people in some situations they let you just basically send a picture of yourself in to do that. And I thought that's pretty dope. So
yeah, I haven't watched any baseball. Like, I don't care. And then I haven't watched basketball except when we recorded the other night. I had the Lakers game on. Yeah. So that part of the Lakers-Rockets game, that's only basketball I've watched since this entire season.
Well, because the
pre-bubble and bubble included, that's the only basketball I've watched.
Because the baseball season is so mercifully shortened. Like, they should be doing this all the time, if you ask me. 60 games is about perfect. 182 games is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's 160.
Whatever that shit is, it's too much.
I always laugh when they're like, miss a game, miss a lot. And I'm like, no, the fuck I don't, because there's 161 more of them bitches.
Yeah. But because of how short the season is, it's actually been a fun and a tight race. And we unfortunately dropped 3 straight to the goddamn Royals, so that probably is not helping the cause at all. But and of course the White Sox currently are playing the Tigers, which is just the easiest team in the fucking our division. We've dropped 3 straight to the last place team in our fucking division. It makes me it senses me. But that's just how baseball goes some days.
That's baseball, and that's the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah. So
they don't hit for shit. So that it's like on nights where like their pitching isn't like otherworldly, they lose, because they only have like 2 guys on the team who can hit worth the shit.
But with all that, dropping 3 straight there, all that good shit, we are still only 1.5 games out of first, and so I don't know. We might be able to.
It doesn't even matter as much this year because there's more playoff spots.
Oh yeah, so I was about to say we might be able to get a wild card spot, but they did change the rules in general, didn't they?
Yeah, so. There's like 3 or 4 wild cards this year.
Boo. Fucking baseball, man. Because like look, like, if you take, all your division winners and a wild card from each whatever, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? There you go. That's I can fuck with that. But if you're gonna just give everybody a fucking chance, come on, bro.
Like there's still like 3 weeks left in the regular season, and the Dodgers have already clinched the playoff spot.
Yeah, bruh, they are old. Fuck the Astros. Still, they've been getting it.
Not the Astros, the Dodgers.
No, I'm saying. Didn't the Astros beat the Dodgers? No, didn't the Astros beat the Dodgers in that World Series that they won? That they bullshit.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? That's where that comes from.
Clayton Kershaw has got like playoff yips, and it might not even be his fault. Because the dude's like otherworldly in the regular season, and then he gets to the playoffs, and like shit just goes sideways. Yeah. But as we have come to learn, it's trash can noises had part of the reason to do that.
Yeah, motherfucker ain't never gonna be right again. He got probably all kinds of PTSD off that shit.
Yeah, that's what happens, man. It's like you go up there, you try and perform on the highest level, you end up failing. That shit stays with you, man. Yeah. Like, I can't imagine you ever truly get over it. Like, you just find a way to cope.
Yeah.
And then to find out that you were fucking cheated, that's gotta, just fucking compound the problem.
Bruh, every single time in the little preseason and the beginning of the season, somebody on the Astros get hit, I just was like, yes, you should do that.
Yeah.
Hit them with all that you can. I'm not saying knock their block off, but you know what? Put it in that flesh meat right there. Get it right there in the cut.
Right in the giblets.
Yeah.
In the gizzards. That's exactly where I want you to hit it at, right there.
Yeah, man. Ribs will heal.
Little something, just something to remind you, like you a bitch. and that need to be said. God, fuck the Astros, man.
Oh man, I have had a hard week. I'm glad to get together with my buds
Jesus
and laugh.
Christ, man, Gabe, what's been
make
problem with you,
jokes,
man, that
have
you
a
care to
few
share
beers,
with
which
the
I'm out of.
listeners?
I drink them both. Drinking Fathead's Bumbleberry. You don't get much more local than this. This shit's made down the street for me. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's refreshing.
That's usually
as they said, it's the most refreshing beer in America.
That's usually the go-to baseline Fatheads beer is the Bumbleberry.
Really?
So I got a question for you, Gabe. Like, what beers have you been drinking over this summer?
I haven't been variety too much. I tried this what they call a Pilsner, which is a pale ale mixed with a Pilsner. I do not recommend that shit.
Don't fuck up a Pilsner by making it bitter. No.
Yeah. I guess I don't like pale ale that much. That's too hoppy for me, and I too many hops is not good for me.
For a minute, it just felt like the beer you're supposed to order if you want to be somebody. I'll have you. What IPA do you have on tap? And
yeah,
I picked that up. And the first PAX I went to in Boston, the bartender was like, basically told me, yes, but I have this IPA and it's real good. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll drink that because I'm not really a bar dude. But I was at IGN's.
I remember that.
I was at IGN's party, and I had my free beer tickets, and I had that beer, and I was like, okay, I guess this is what it's supposed to taste like. It tastes just like, I don't know, like orange peel.
Fucking, it's a liquid fart.
Oh, the recording stopped and restarted. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So I can't call it, man. IPA is gross. But drinking IPAs, getting that bitter hoppy ass bullshit made stouts taste way better to me. Like, I can fuck with a Guinness stout easy right now. You know what I'm saying?
I really like stouts.
Yeah. So.
What did you? Yeah, you're another beer drinker, Dan. IPAs, yes or no?
I do like. I would say it depends on the brewery. Like, I've really liked Three Floyds IPA stuff. Like, they're probably my favorite IPA brewery. I do enjoy stouts a little bit more. I like the full body feel of them and the darker notes. Lately, though, I've gotten more into whiskey, but if I have a beer like those, that's the kind of stuff I do prefer.
Okay.
I'm not really like a commercial beer kind of guy. Like, I don't like Budweiser and all that. Like, that's the kind of shit I'll drink if I'm at a party and someone brought a 24-pack and I came empty-handed. Like, I'll force myself to drink a Coors Light and shit like that just to get along with the get down. But, like, I would prefer not to drink that shit if I don't have to.
Oh, if my commercial beer is my daddy's beer of choice, and that is the champagne of beers, Miller High Life and or Miller Genuine Draft, which I don't even know if they still make MGD because I don't drink. I'm not buying. You know what I'm saying? I'm not to be Osmode. I'm only drinking craft beers. But I mean, we came across that tea beer that was real good. What was that? Ohio. Mm-hmm. Ohio
Wild Brewing.
I don't know what the fuck that was, but they sell it at Target now. So it's locally they sell it at Target, so it's kind of easy to get across. So that's a delight. Plus it's light, you know what I'm saying? It's not too heavy and it's got a nice little flavor profile.
Remember when we were down in Kentucky and we stopped at that grocery store and I bought the habanero beer?
Ooh, how was that?
I actually still have like 4 of them. It had some heat on it. Like, I had like the Voodoo Ranger one like 2 years ago, like their Halloween one with the pepper spices in it. And that one was like kind of tangy with a little bit of a heat on it. That habanero one that I bought that day, that one I could only drink like one a sitting. Like that was not a multi-can situation.
I wonder, does it get hotter the longer it sits? Like, does it ferment more and just like the heat build?
Well, I have 4 that have been in the fridge since like February, so you're welcome to try.
No, thank you.
Is beer okay to kind of hang out, or is that one of the things?
Keep it cold, I suppose, but like
It doesn't last forever. Like it'll start to turn like skunky after a while. But I had so the Royal Rumble this year. My one buddy had brought over some Founders bottles he had, and I drank them like 2 months ago during quarantine when I was playing Call of Duty late one night. And when I looked at them, they were bottled like 2 years ago. They were well past like the recommended drink by date, and they were still fine.
Okay. Very
It's
good.
alcohol.
But it's not. It's like it's a lot of other things with a little alcohol in it.
I mean, for all I know, I was drinking penicillin, and then it just cleaned me out.
Hey.
Now you're immune to COVID.
It's hard to tell if it was the penicillin beer or the Taco Bell that made me shit that next day. But either way, I shit the next day.
I mean, don't we all?
Well, you got to shit eventually. It's like that book says, everyone shits.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to end up doing that here shortly when we're done with this. Like, I already have one on deck right now. I'm actually probably going to have to run. You know what? You guys continue on.
You talked that up, sir. You made that happen.
Well, no, I was holding it.
I think you unplugged your mic, but go potty.
I muted it. I was holding it, and it was okay, but now as we've been sitting here, it's gotten worse.
On your bike, sir. It's okay. Oh, my gosh.
A commercial beer that I do drink, though, is like Yingling. I mean, it's a...
I hate
you hate Linging?
It's offensive to my palate. It seriously is. Plus, it's from Pittsburgh, so fuck that beer.
I really want to spend some time in Pittsburgh. I want to, when things get better, I want to go to the Andy Warhol Museum.
Last time I went we went to go see. Last time I went and we kicked it was I went to go see Aesop on the Impossible Kid tour. So that was a few years back, and it really is delightful. It's a nice town, man. Especially in the section we were in, it was very very touristy and so forth. So I can't knock it too much, but Dan told us a story during last year's football season when he went there for a game and had a pretty decent time. So it's like they're not all bad, but England gets fucking trash. Sorry, sir.
I was just gonna call it drinkable but unexciting, as Dan would describe it. But
as the new metric. But I mean, drinkable and unexciting describes water.
But water don't get you drunk. How am I gonna be fucking fat bitches in no time?
In no time.
A friend of mine was visiting from Vegas, and we were just talking about like discovering beers and stuff. Because I was talking about that rake of vodka that I had tried a couple months back, and how he said in Vegas they don't have like where you can just buy like an individual beer just to try it, like how you can go to a fancier Giant Eagle or a Heinen's, you can get that mixed 6-pack.
Yeah, I've seen that at some places. Make your own 6-pack.
Yeah. He was like, yeah, we don't got that in Vegas. I said, okay. I guess you just everything is top dollar, or he just ain't looking at the right places.
What, the Vegas you make you buy the whole... Wait, even at the bar?
You gotta buy the whole shebang. I mean,
I don't know.
I ain't never been to Vegas before.
We gotta make it happen. We gotta just, it's like when we are able to travel, man. Well, in general, I just want to travel with y'all. We've been talking about that for fucking ever, but it's like I've already decided, and I mean I put this one down on paper. Assuming my man Joe Biden pulls it off, I definitely am going back to DC for another inauguration. It's just what I do. I did that for both of Barack Obama's inaugurations, and I like being in that town.
Well, now I gotta go. Hold on.
Go ahead. Podcast.
But yeah, man. So like, I definitely want to. Like I said, if I'm traveling, I like hanging with y'all. I like traveling with y'all because y'all my homeboys, and it's just dope. And it's cool to do the road trip with your fellas. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like speaking of road trips, like I've been looking for a new car.
Okay.
So did I tell you what happened to my car?
Yeah, like at last check, you turned and you popped what you call it, right? But you was right there at a shop that got it. Did something else happen to this car?
Something else happened to the car. So I was on my way to go pick up dinner one night, and so I put my key wouldn't go in my car ignition at all.
Okay. I've had that happen, man. Because Ford be on some bullshit. I had to have a locksmith come and replace the entire ignition.
So, well, that's probably what I have to do then. But I really don't feel like doing that. So I called the locksmith to get a new key.
Yeah.
And he was like, he cut the new key, it went in and everything, and then when he put the tablet in there, he was like, the car computer saying it's not taking any more keys. Like, it won't allow me to it won't allow me to program the key the right way. And I was just like, okay. And like, he was like, he said, go to the dealership, which, how the fuck I'm gonna take it to the dealership? And maybe they can, maybe it's a recall that isn't listed or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, forget it. I just spent like almost $1,000 on this car a couple weeks back. So I was just like, instead of spending another $1,000 or whatever it costs, just put that towards a down payment on the car. So I've been looking.
Okay. You sticking with American or you going foreign?
I am definitely going foreign this time.
That is,
might as well.
It has been so. The two cars I had before I got my current car were both Fords. I had a Ford Taurus and I got the Ford Focus. Folks still got the Focus. It's gonna be my kid's car, and it's just gonna be his beater for him to get his groove going. But both of them just nothing but troubles, just problematic cars in both situations. Right now, the Focus, the check engine light popped on recently, and I know what it is because I know what it is every time. Every time that check engine light comes on, it's always an O2 sensor, which is a cheap part, but it always costs about $100 to get it replaced. You know what I'm saying? $30 for the part, X amount of $60 for the fucking for the labor. And it's like it goes bad like every 2 years. It just does. It's a relatively regular situation that has been down since I've had this car, and so it's just been. I just was like when I started looking for a car, I knew exactly what I wanted and whatever. I just researched it. It's just I was like, I know what I want. I know what car works, so forth. And I was just like, I didn't even know American cars was even on the menu, like none. It was either gonna be a Nissan or the Honda, and I went with Honda just because, like I said, I went with Honda because I got a pre-approval, and it was too breezy to turn that down, and so I just went with that, and so and I did just like I said, I just went with that. So I'm with you, man. It's no disrespect to American-made vehicles. I can't call it. Who knows? They may be the best thing since sliced bread nowadays, but in my experience, they just aren't. So I'm not bothering with them no more. It just is what it is, man.
Everybody cool?
There's a cucumber.
Oh, yeah, I'm good.
Gabe had to go too. Gabe had to go too. He was just like, it struck him as well.
Hit me in the bladder.
I was shocked because like usually I go after I wake up in the morning. It's been a while since I had a twofer.
But we were talking beers and we're talking Yingling and it is offensive to Tayrail's palate. I find it unoffensive but not very exciting.
Palate.
I don't know anyone who likes.
I don't
Yingling.
like it.
Gabe.
I drink it.
And it's not because it's a Pittsburgh beer. It's just like most of the people I know that drink it say they get like a really bad headache afterwards.
I didn't drink enough.
It's disgusting.
I
literally don't even like the flavor of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying so. It's not just that I'm like whatever. It tastes gross.
I don't prefer it.
And Vanessa loves it. She went to college on it.
I don't think I've ever drank it actually.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we were just talking about getting a pick six, where you mix your own. I will gladly mix you up a 6-pack and throw a single Yingling in there for you. You'd be like, "This is awful, T. Why would you do this to me?"
Is that what they call them? Pick sixes?
Oh,
that's
man.
Nice.
I think that's the name of it. Yeah.
There's a part of me that's kind of irritated that like the grocery store took the sacred art of sneaking one of your beers out for a different beer to try it and commercialized it with a markup,
I mean, hey, bro, it's like it had been probably happening so often and for so long. They was like, fine, fuck it, Jesus Christ, here, just do it.
Yeah, maybe that's why like a lot more drinks are in enclosed cases now.
Yeah.
Even like some of the beer cans come in like those boxes now.
I drink a lot of canned beer
because you can't swap it out.
I was drinking this Bumbleberry, which is good in cans, but I prefer a bottle if I can, if I'm able.
I'm a bottle man, except for Guinness, because Guinness has that sweet little nitrogen ball at the bottom of it. So when you crack a Guinness, you'll hear that as the nitrogen starts activating, and it's just a delight. I'm sure it's probably a Guinness bottle as well, but the can really puts on a show.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, if you get a can of Guinness, because it basically tries to.
Aren't those just the nitro stouts that do that?
I just happen to know Guinness does it, so I don't know whatever, but Guinness in particular is the one I know that does it, and yeah, it's a good time. And it basically tries to like reenact what it would be if you got it on tap somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And if you pour it right, you know what I'm saying, you get on a Guinness, you want about an inch, half an inch of head, because you know what I'm saying, it's a very dense foam. It's very creamy. So, like I said, the can they try to make that happen again.
Tatum and
recreate that for
probably
you.
can't relate, but
I dig it.
It's funny how your wants and your needs change when it comes to beer. When you're like not a high schooler trying to get drunk, like a 30-pack of Milwaukee's Best, why not?
There's two reasons to drink: to enjoy it or to get drunk. And like, if you're trying to enjoy it, you have a certain level that you don't want to fall below. If you're drinking to get drunk, you stay below that level and you drink a mass amount because it's generally cheaper.
I've
you ever
not
drank
had Strohs.
No.
Never
Fire brewed
No.
Strohs is a beer that I tried many a year ago, and I can tell you right now, they describe themselves as fire brewed Strohs, and it tasted like they poured that shit through a campfire. It's disgusting. It's one of the worst things I ever drank in my life. Fuck Strohs. And I've drank some Old Gold. I've drank plenty of St. Ides, you know what I'm saying? I've had some of the classic hood, beers. Strohs.
Just hit the corner store, you know what I'm
looking for.
I can't drink Milwaukee's Best. Even as a younger guy, I knew that this is garbage I'm consuming. But if I just keep pushing through, I'll get that drunk feeling.
But the commercials always made it look so dope. It was like a party beer, and they was always eating like lobsters and shit.
Why would you ruin the taste of a lobster with that shitty
Let's
beer?
eat some shellfish, which makes no sense because Milwaukee. It's like on a Great Lake at tops. There's definitely not a lot of shellfish situation going on.
Milwaukee. The Boston of the middle.
Oh my God.
Yeah, my next door neighbor Buddy used to drink Milwaukee's Best, and I remember me and my brother was like, we should do something nice for Buddy. What kind of beer does he drink? And my brother was like, I see a lot of Milwaukee's Best in the trash. And I was like, nah, I'm not gonna buy him that.
We gotta find out the best of Milwaukee's Best. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they have a higher
Milwaukee's
end
Best
version.
Platinum.
I don't know.
The best of Milwaukee's Best. That would be amazing. Milwaukee's better.
Well, like I said, if I'm gonna drink, like I said, just like what they call what is actually described as a macro brew, it's just gonna be the champagne of beers, which comes in a very classy bottle. So respect due to
with a lady with her skirt up.
Yeah, she's a lady sitting on the moon, so I dig her. I always that is actually a tattoo idea I had because just out of respect for my pop, it was gonna be like that lady on the moon and just his name in the font. And I found that font. It's actually it's in my computer. It's called, I think it's, what is that font called? If I drop down right quick in the word menu, it is called Draft Beer. Is actually the name of the font. So yeah,
Really?
because
I was gonna make a joke about that, but I thought it was gonna be lame, so I didn't.
yeah, so that is a tattoo ideal that still floats around my head. I'm always sitting there thinking about, I'm gonna get another tattoo. I'm gonna get another tattoo. I'm gonna get another tattoo, and I've yet to do it. I actually want to go. There's a shop in Toronto that specializes in black skin. In fact, they had a special. They were on Vice's show, and they were talking to them about how much they do in regards to that. You know what I'm saying? They specialize, like I said, in black skin, because a lot of people don't. Like the tattoo of my ex-wife's name on my right arm. The guy was super nice. But if you can feel that tattoo is scarred. It's like he went too deep in my arm, and so it's like it's not a good tattoo in that regard. So I wouldn't mind going to see somebody who I know that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? They like and it just happens to be in Toronto, and of course I got how much I love Toronto. So they see it again.
Well, they're losing right now.
I saw that fucking bullshit ass Celtics had pulled back into
Yeah, I checked a second ago. They were up 7 with like 7 minutes to go.
Gross.
I think it's because Drake can't be there. If Drake was there, they would win.
Fucking, oh my god, I hate fucking New England. I hate New England sports teams. I love New England.
Yeah.
Yeah, you enjoy good luck.
I hate all Boston sports teams. I hate all New York sports teams. I hate all Los Angeles sports teams.
Yeah.
I try to tell people I don't root against the Lakers because of LeBron leaving Cleveland. I root against the Lakers because I don't like the Lakers.
Hey. Well, we'll have a double LA Bill in the Western Conference Finals, assuming Denver. I mean, come on, bro. But so you can be real hateful.
Yeah.
I hate.
I mean, if I have to pick either one, I'm gonna pick the Clippers.
I mean, it's logic dictates as much. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay. But let's keep it tip tap topping along, man, and let's slide into a little bit of Am I the Asshole?
All right.
Each week, I get a selection of Am I the Assholes from my partner, and I go over them on the show with my gentlemen here. They pick which ones they think are the best sounding, and we have at. So, I hadn't seen them yet. They hadn't heard them yet. Let's click. Already one's gone, but see, we're prepared for this. Last time we did this, we had several that they just sounded real good, and Box suggested, hey, have her do a screen grab just in case they delete it. And in this case, this has been deleted. But so I'll read you the title, and we'll go from there. If I need to go to the screen, if I need to go to the tape. So, am I the asshole for rehoming my son's 8? He's 8 years old. 5th pet hermit crab. Another one that's been deleted. Am I the asshole for being prepared for terrorists?
I can see where that's going. If you have to ask in that situation, you might be the asshole.
This one's still here. So, am I the asshole for ignoring the diet my ex-wife put my daughter on? Am I the asshole for telling the principal that his punishment was dumb and taking my daughter out for a fun day instead? Oh my god. Am I the asshole for choosing a trip to Hawaii over my alone and pregnant sister? Oh, and that is my own personal thing I was reading about Vino, so both those need to be closed. That is the selection we have right now.
My vote goes to the hermit crab.
All right, let me tail of the tape. Let me drop down here to. Man, this is nice. I like that it's right here, and plus we can go over. I believe they still leave the comments up on those. So, am I the asshole for rehoming my son's 8 years old 5th pet hermit crab? My 37 male, I guess this person's 37 male, wife, 35 female, is really insistent on teaching our son, 8 male, responsibility. For the most part, I have absolutely no problem with this. At 8, our son knows how to wash and fold his own laundry with our assistance and supervision, make simple meals like grilled cheese, eggs, etc., and he keeps his room clean. He also has a pet hermit crab. My wife bought it for him from a pet store, thinking it was an easy pet to teach our son responsibilities. However, I feel like altogether at 8 is far too much responsibility if we have the pet. It's really poorly written. So far, I've been proven right 4 times. Sadly, we have had to bury 4 hermit crabs because our son sometimes forgets to feed him. I work 60 hours a week as an essential worker, so I only find out about the deaths after the fact, when I come home and find my son sobbing in his mother's lap with her promising to get a new one.
Aww.
That's irresponsible. That is not teacher responsibility at that point. I told her and my son that the last hermit crab he had would be the final one. He clearly isn't old enough to handle everything that's on his plate. My wife, on the other hand, seems to think that because they're just hermit crabs, they're practice pets. I told her that was a disgusting way to think about them, as they are living creatures and can't defend themselves and need us to care for them when we take them in as pets. It's honestly been a huge point of contention for us. Last week, however, I returned home from work one day to find a 5th hermit crab in my son's room. My wife had went and bought one behind my back. I laid it straight out to my son and my wife that I will be placing. I hope she got the rest of this. No, she didn't, damn it. Let me see if I can open it all the way. Maybe. Nope, that is where it cut off at. Poop. Well, basically, my man was about to. It's like, fuck that hermit crab. Let me scroll down. Let me see if I can. Sometimes she said they'll repost the whole thing further down. But
I mean, based off of what we got, it sounds like the wife's the asshole because she's teaching the kid the thought that like life doesn't have value.
That everything is replaceable.
Yeah, and it's like, how you gonna go from I'm trying to teach him to be responsible, and then that's the result?
Yeah, I don't think he's the asshole for that.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, he's the savior. It's like that hermit crab can live a life now.
He will be worshipped among hermit crabs as their god.
Oh my goodness.
Crab people.
Crab people got no reason.
Well, again, like I said, they do leave the comments up, so let's go over a few of the comments. Not the asshole. Practice pets. Tell her she's a practice wife. See how that goes down.
Damn.
The guy responded, I feel terrible, but I feel terrible, but I laughed at this. So the OP. Please say that to them, as they are your practice family, obviously in jest. Crabs are living beings too. I might reverse the perspective a bit. It might reverse the perspective a little bit if you were to say, you're my practice wife. I see what my man's saying there. Do you think someone who believes in practice pet and had let 4 starve to death already is going to emphasize and think that's a good point? Probably not. You're right. Scroll down a little bit, see if we see any more. She's getting the crabs because she knows she can ignore it. If they got a dog or a kitten, it would demand to be fed and walked and played with, etc. She sees the crabs as disposable and is actually teaching the kid that he can let the pet die and he would just get a new one, not the asshole. This is what I took away from the whole situation too. If she seriously thinks that hermit crabs are just practice pets, I seriously have to wonder what she would do if they did get the kid a dog or a cat. Also, if the kid gets overwhelmed with his current responsibilities, it's not because of his age, it's because he's not being taught the proper time management skills. It shouldn't take more than an hour and a half to do laundry, if that. Fuck you. Cooking can be quick and easy if he's taught to be efficient with it. Again, fuck you.
That depends on what you're cooking.
Again, that's why I stand with that fuck you on this person. Especially if he's just doing simple dishes like scrambled eggs with cheese. There's better ways to make him self-sufficient that don't exclude the shortcuts. I'm gonna call this person the asshole.
Yeah, what kind of life is this person living? Do they think you can do all this shit in that time frame that they're spitting out? Like shit, like caramelizing onions could take like 45 minutes depending on how you do it.
The other day, my girlfriend went to the store, and we were having burgers for dinner. So, I started the onions, and she was going for like an hour and 10 minutes. I let the onions cook down all that time, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah. Like, I love caramelized onions, but it's like, people don't realize how long that shit takes if you do it the normal way. Like, I was watching Good Mythical Kitchen yesterday, and he was doing a bloomin' onion that they coated in Funyuns.
I wanted to watch that.
Yeah, in there, he talks about a hack to caramelizing onions in like 15 minutes or something like that.
Nice. Here,
I probably won't do it. I'd probably still continue to do it my way, but I'm curious to see how it would work, so I might try it once.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that episode of Curb where they were playing golf and one of the dudes was like, I want some onions, can you make them crispy? And they was fucking pissed at him. It was like, you know how long that's gonna take for them to make crispy onions? You gonna make this?
I don't think I ever made it through the second season of that.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Well, like, I was watching it at work on those Saturday overtime days, and then I ended up changing jobs, and I just never picked it back up.
Well, it's pretty good. I'm watching the show you recommended right now. I'm watching Cobra Kai, but like the episode I left off with, it pissed me off, but I'm still gonna pick it up.
Yeah, you gotta fight through it. Trust me, it's good.
Oh yeah, that is the other subject I wanted to talk about. I guess I can save it for the next episode though.
So I was literally about to say I gotta read this tier before we go. All right, again, this is what I gotta go pull the tape for. So the following is a copy of the above post. Okay, so there was a copy of. I'm glad she found it.
You know, while we're talking about this though, I wonder why they pull that hermit crab one. There didn't seem anything wrong with that.
Let me go back.
They pulled it because that one dude was an asshole.
Sometimes they will. They'll be like, why they pulled it. Let me see. Let this
promotes animal cruelty. I don't know.
Sorry, this post has been removed by moderators. Moderators remove post. Thread has been locked. No comments can't be posted. Does it tell you why? I wonder. Can I flip to the? I can't do anything. Like I said, once they close it, they really don't let you putz around in there. I was hoping I could like go to the newest comment or the oldest comment and find out why. And it's literally from, like I said, this was here yesterday, and it's been, like I said, 97% upvoted. I had a good thing going. I wonder why they just shut it down. View discussions in 3 other communities. Hermit crabs. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it got spread over too far.
Man, our boy that does the OnlyFans reviews, I can't hear the audio, obviously, because we're doing this right now. But he put a new post up like 2 hours ago, and the very first sentence of his caption says, "I looked into that teacher that got fired for her OnlyFans, and 7 dots, no."
Yeah, well, we'll discuss that shortly. Here's the am of the asshole for preparing for terrorism, being prepared for terrorists. I live in a small European country which has had its share of terrorist attacks in the past. After these events occurred, I was always nervous to travel by train or train to other countries because of terrorism. This is a hot topic in the community here, and someone posted on Facebook because asking the question, what we do if faced by a terrorist on a train or otherwise enclosed space. I answered honestly that I now travel with spray deodorant and a lighter, so in case I have time, I could burn them up pretty bad. Pepper spray and other concealed weapons are illegal here. I got completely dragged by said community because violence is bad. I figured if someone's going to try to end me, I'll try my best to end them first, no matter how horrifying. What do they expect me to do? Reason with a maniac? Everyone here is giving me the side eye because of my answer.
No, I guess not.
Am I the asshole?
I think that's a little bit of an ingenuity, though.
Again, like I said, this has been deleted, so we're gonna be just reading some of the oh shit, like this didn't get nothing. This really didn't get many comments before it got took out. So that one got nuked from orbit, didn't it?
Okay.
Oops, check out Rule 5. I wonder what Rule 5 is. Rule 5 is no violence. Oh, okay, there you go. You're the asshole because your choice of weapons is questionable and likely to hurt bystanders, and it's kind of a goofy move in general. So
this is some Wile E. Coyote type shit.
Because he's hoping he can flick that lighter and then get the spray going and aim it and so forth. He's not really prepared for this person. I don't know if it's a he. This person isn't very prepared for terrorism. He's just prepared for possible arson. So, meh. I don't know if it makes him an asshole. It makes him an idiot. So I'll allow
that shit
for that.
Can go right back into the can and blow up.
Yeah.
I've done that a lot. Not necessarily a lot, but I usually have like some cooking spray around, and yeah, we got some lighters, and that's my favorite thing to kill spiders with outside. Because instead of trying to catch them and have them run away, I just burn them.
So is Anthony an asshole for preparing for spider attacks?
I mean, he seems to be just preparing to cook, and that's the spider. All right, this one is just went up 17 minutes ago and has 9 comments. I'm going to do this one because I'm just going to read to you, and then you're going to be like, "Oh, I see why he did that." Okay. Am I the asshole for recording my farts?
He's literally an asshole.
I'm actually just going to leave it right there. I'm not even going to go any further than that. Oh my god, that is fantastic. That is fascinating. All right, so let's delete that. That's
I don't know. Is he sound sampling for a mixtape?
Maybe he's gonna sell them.
Oh,
like they might need them for cartoons or something.
Hey people, that has been episode 366 of Stays Crunchy in Milk. It was a very good episode. We had to record it a day late as my child yesterday managed to wreck shop on his ankle at the band practice.
Is he feeling better?
Yeah, he went and kicked it with his homeboys tonight on crutches. So, only my son can get injured in band. That is what it is to be the child of me. And I had to just chuckle at it because, I don't know, it's just hilarious. But
was he trying to show out with the tuba or something? Doing some tricks?
Literally, as a part of their routine, they do what are known as tuba kicks. And they were practicing their tuba kicks, so this is actually a thing they have. His water bottle had fallen over, and he slipped and rolled his ankle and fell backwards, landing on his back, and a tuba coming crashing on him. Which he's just lucky he didn't get hurt by that.
Wow.
And just rolled the shit out of his ankle. So, and he is his father's child and has. I've had my ankles described by a doctor as dainty. I have dainty ankles, and my children have dainty ankles as well. And I am anything but a dainty man, so carrying all of this on dainty ankles is problematic. So
you're making me think of that Kevin Hart bit where he talked about his baby like with the wobbly head, and it's like comparing his baby to other babies. It's like, no, my baby has a strong neck. We come from a line of strong neck babies in our family.
A lot of strong neck babies.
Look at your baby over there, head all wobbly.
Oh my god. As I do every week, and will continue to doing so until I get so many downloads that I get commercials on my show. Please rate, review, subscribe, and share the show wherever possible. If you would like to, I'm going to suggest that you do this. Is go follow us over on YouTube and on Twitch. We The office is almost done. I got a few more things coming in tomorrow, or Sunday, depending on what Amazon does, and that being okay. I guess technically the office will not be done because I still won't have the new desktop, but I could take this one down there if I needed to do some Twitch streaming, but. I'm pretty excited about that. That my office is almost time. It's almost game time in my office. So we'll be back to twitching more. We just recorded another episode of Podcast the Vital Edition the other day. I had such a bruh. I walked outside with a stack like this big of records. I didn't even know I had this many records coming all at once. It was wild. It was so nice. So. That had to be filmed because, at least the unboxing portion. I have yet to film the music playing portion of that, and I'll get that done probably sometime this weekend. But we out here making shit still, people. That's what we do. And if you want to support the show financially, and you have a few bucks tossed away, because right now we don't have commercials, but one day, feel free to give us to support us over on our Patreon, where members at the $5 and above tier get extra content each month and early access to new shows. We also have merch available over on tpublic.com/user/stage. Crunchy and milk, all one word. Dope shit. Tablets, Lord knows. I'm saying tablets, no, but like notebooks and face masks and so forth and so on. So if you want to slide over to TeePublic and see what they have on offer with the logo, and you want to rock the brand, please do. Our brand has showed up in all kinds of places, including on the world's largest game site, IGN.com. Don't sleep on the brand. And if you feel like chatting, feel free to give us a call. 216-302-8763. That's 216-302-8POD. We'd certainly love to hear from you. Let's see, how do I do this? If you were looking at my screen, on the right side, but at the top, is my man Tatum 216.
Howdy ho.
Beneath him,
neighborino.
Still on the right, is my man Lunchbox 2099.
Beneath him, as I should be.
And to the side, full of pride,
party bottom,
is my man, the real ODP, the homeboy Gabe.
I am not drunk. I only had 2 beers.
But you know what you do? But you know what you are? Fully awake.
Yes.
Man.
Maybe I should drink every podcast.
As you will. Yeah,
You're the man who doesn't want me to get drunk at the zoo. Try to hold me back.
Be fucking.
Are you like Drew Carey? You drink Buzz beer?
Oh man.
That's probably a real thing, right?
It probably is now.
Somebody probably has picked that up locally, or they can't because of I think that's a Warner joint. So so that might be owned by the good people at Warner Brothers.
They probably just call it something else.
Yeah. Hey.
Cappuccino.
That show was a long time ago. Maybe like the licensing is running out now or
something.
Man,
copyright is weird in this country. I'll just tell you that. Real loose is too slightly looser in Europe, so shit can go down.
I know, but the thing is, it's like you have a copyright, but like you lose it after a few years of not using it, and then you have to reapply. It's how like WWE lost some of the names of their pay-per-views, and AEW was able to acquire them.
Well, hey, who knows? If Drew Carey is on HBO Max, and I don't know if it is, then that's how they keep it alive. Also, if it's
Boston,
if it's in
Boston
syndication.
just won.
Boston what? Just one?
Just one.
Sons of bitches. I hope you lose to Miami.
92-87.
Well,
what?
The one-time champs are no more.
HBO Max need to get rid of it.
Know how that goes.
Yeah.
I think I have HBO Max for 3 more days.
Did you watch the Anna Kendrick show yet?
Nope. So I started the free trial I had. I watched Dr. Sleep, and then I haven't turned HBO Max back on. But I made sure to cancel it so it didn't charge me the $16 or whatever it was when the free trial was up.
I mean, if you got time, bro, give the Harley Quinn show, the cartoon, a watch. It is so good. It is well worth the watch. Kaylee Kuko is the voice of Harley Quinn in that show, and it's so good. King Shark is what my man Ron Bunch is. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, it's a pretty good watch. HBO Max has a lot of good stuff on it.
Yeah. Vanessa's been watching a bunch of friends. But hey, let me put a fork in this show here. I am the Internet Taylor 713.
Why? Gabe still awake.
You have just been.
Yeah, I thought you wanted to talk about the OnlyFans teacher.
You have just been podcasting,
Yes.
and I know you'll love it. Peace.
So what about this OnlyFans teacher?
Hey, what happened to you? You used to be beautiful.